Welcome to Crackers and Goo, a game of patterns that teaches math and delights you. In this video we will explore math strategies to repeatedly add numbers that are multiples of 25. These strategies will enable you to be more quick and accurate when performing these operations. Multiples of 25 are numbers that can be obtained by adding 2 or more 25's. For example, 75 is a multiple of 25 because 75 is equal to 25 plus 25 plus 25. Let's go over to the step screen in the game. So we'll hit the info button and then we'll look for the step button. And you will see that I've highlighted step 10 here. This is where you'll find patterns in games where you'll need to repeat add multiples of 25 to find a total. So let's go ahead and hit the step button here. The first example we see here shows a staircase pattern where each cracker contains a number 125. Let's go ahead and finish this pattern. So we'll go from blue to pink to blue. Great, we finished the pattern. Now we'll pause the game so we can study the math we need to perform to calculate the total for the last pattern. So I hit the pause button on the lower left and the game is temporarily paused. Notice that the number 125 is made up of 125. This will enable us to break up each 125 into 100 and a 25. This is helpful because it is easy to find the product of 4 100s and of 4 25's and then add them together. We then have that 125 plus 125 plus 125 plus 125 is the same thing as 4 times 125, and that is equal to 4 100s plus 4 25's. 4 100s is easy, that's 400. 4 25's or 4 quarters is another 100. So 400 plus 100 is 500. Now we can add 500 to the previous total. The previous total we see is 750, so we have to add 750 plus 500, and that gives us 1250. So let's go ahead and start up the game and look for the 1250 total bubble. And there it is. Drag it into place. Great. Now you can always go to the how-to screen and review the math strategies. That's the button on the top left that has numbers and math symbols. Let's see what that looks like. So you can see the same strategies we discussed in the video are shown here in the how-to screen. So I encourage you to go there to solve strategies or to learn about strategies that we've applied to solve patterns. This next example shows a pattern where each cracker contains the number 175. Let's go ahead and finish the pattern. I'll hit the play button on the lower left. We're alternating between yellow and purple. Now I'll pause the game so we can study the math we need to perform to calculate the total for the last pattern. Notice that the number 175 is 25 less than 200. Repeat adding or multiplying 200s is much easier than doing the same with 175's. Our strategy would be to turn each 175 into a 200. We just need to make sure to subtract away as many 25's as we use to turn 175's into 200's. We can use this math strategy to simplify the calculation. We have 175 plus 175 plus 175 plus 175 is the same as 4 times 175, and that's the same as 4 200s minus 4 25's. 4 200s is an easy calculation. 4 times 200 is 800. 4 25's or 4 quarters is 100, so we end up with 800 minus 100, which is 700. We can then add 700 to the previous total. The previous total in this example is 1050, so 1050 plus 700 is 1750. Let's go ahead and find that bubble and finish the game. Great, so our total was 1750. We can now go to the how-to screen to see the actual math that we talked about in the video within the game. The final example shows a square pattern containing 16 crackers where each cracker contains the number 75. Let's go ahead and finish the pattern. Now we'll pause the game so we can study the math we performed to calculate the total for the last pattern. Notice that the number 75 is 25 less than 100. Repeat adding or multiplying hundreds is much easier than doing the same with 75's. Our strategy will be to turn each 75 into a 100. We just need to make sure to subtract away as many 25's as we used to turn 75's into hundreds. We can use this math strategy to simplify the calculation. So we're repeat adding 16 75's, which is the same thing as 16 times 75. We're going to turn those 75's into hundreds, and there's 16 of them, so we end up with 16 75's is equal to 16 times 100 minus 16 times 25. Now notice that in the next step, 16 times 100, we subtract 4 25's minus 4 25's minus 4 25's minus 4 25's. We broke up 16 25's into 4 groups of 4 25's. Well, each 4 25's is 100, so we get to the next step where 16 times 100 minus 4 times 100, which is a very easy calculation. 16 times 100 is 1600, 4 times 100 is 400, so we obtain the total of 1600 minus 400 is equal to 1200. Note that we do not need to use the previous pattern to help us find the total of the last pattern. Let's go ahead and solve it. So we're looking for the bubble with 1200. Great, again we can now go to the how-to screen to see the actual math we talked about in the video within the game. Repeat adding numbers that are multiples of 25 can be done more easily by using math strategies. We learn how we change numbers into more friendly numbers that are easier to work with, and then added or subtracted to get back to the correct amount. Now go play some Crackers and Goo games and have some fun.